Imagine standing on the shore and watching the tide slowly recede. Most people play in the sand, laugh, and take selfies, not realizing the ocean is pulling back because a massive wave is about to hit. That's where America stands right now. The economy looks like it's still functioning, businesses are still running, the markets still trade, but the warning signs are everywhere. Peter Schiff has been sounding the alarm, and whether you agree with him or not, his message forces us to look deeper into what is happening. He says America is walking directly into a horrific financial crisis, one that won't just bruise the economy, but shake the very foundation of how people live, save, and invest. The truth is, crises don't come out of nowhere. They build, they brew, and they reveal themselves slowly before they suddenly explode. Schiff argues that what is coming is not an accident, but the consequence of years of decisions, cheap money, debt upon debt, and the illusion that you can print prosperity into existence. For too long, America has relied on artificially low interest rates, trillions in stimulus, and endless promises from the Federal Reserve that they can control the storm. But there comes a moment when manipulation can't cover reality anymore, and Schiff insists that moment is near. What does this mean for you, for your family, for your future? It means you cannot afford to sit passively, hoping that somehow things will fix themselves. Intention creates energy. Where you focus, where you act, where you decide with clarity, you generate momentum that can carry you through storms. This is why understanding Schiff's warning is not just an intellectual exercise. It is a call to act, to prepare, to rethink how you see money, debt, and wealth. Schiff believes America is drowning in inflation that isn't going away. Sure, you've heard politicians say it's temporary, that supply chains caused it, that things will cool down. But when the cost of food, energy, and housing keeps climbing, you don't need official reports to tell you the truth. Inflation eats away at your purchasing power silently, month after month, like termites eating at the foundation of your home. You might not see the damage until it's too late. Schiff says the deeper cause is too much money creation, too much government spending, and too much dependence on credit. That's why even if supply chains recover, prices may still rise, because the money in circulation far outweighs the value it represents. And then there's stagflation, the nightmare scenario Schiff warns about. That's when growth stalls, unemployment rises, but inflation stays high. It's like being trapped in quicksand while the ground around you catches fire. Normally, when economies slow down, central banks cut rates to stimulate activity. But when inflation is high, cutting rates just makes prices rise even faster. It's a trap, and Schiff says America is walking straight into it. Debt makes the trap even tighter. Households, corporations, and especially the U.S. government have borrowed massively. They borrowed when rates were low, when everyone believed the party would never end. But when rates rise, the cost of servicing that debt rises too. Suddenly, the same families who stretched to buy homes at cheap mortgage rates find themselves squeezed. The same businesses that relied on easy credit to stay afloat now face higher costs they can't manage. And the government itself, with trillions owed, must spend more just to pay interest, leaving less for anything else. Schiff warns that this spiral cannot continue indefinitely. Something has to break. Why don't more people see it? Because most of us are conditioned to believe the system will always save itself. The Fed will cut rates, Congress will bail out industries, the dollar will hold strong. But Schiff argues this belief is dangerous. Central banks cannot simply print away reality. When too much money is chasing too few goods, prices will keep rising. When debt becomes too heavy, defaults and bankruptcies follow. When confidence in the system erodes, investors flee. Schiff says that America is already showing cracks. Foreign investors pulling back, confidence in U.S. bonds weakening, and global markets questioning the dollar's long-term dominance. But here is where the intention-energy principle comes into play. You are not powerless. You are not doomed to sink with the tide. You can prepare, you can adjust, and you can build resilience. Schiff often emphasizes gold, real assets, and diversification outside the US dollar as protective moves. But beyond financial tools, the mindset matters even more. If you wait until the wave is visible, it may already be too late. If you prepare while others laugh, you put yourself in position not just to survive, but to thrive. Think of history. Every great crisis blindsided those who thought the good times would last forever. In 2008, people believed housing prices could never fall. In 2000, they believed dot-com companies could never collapse. Each time, Schiff was among those who warned early. Each time, many dismissed him until the wave hit. Now again, he is warning that the foundations are cracking, and again, many shrug it off. But the pattern is there for those willing to see. So how do you turn this into energy, into intention, into action? First, you shift your mindset. Stop thinking in terms of, the government will fix it. Start thinking in terms of, what can I do with what I control? That shift alone creates a spark. Second, you get educated. Learn what inflation really does. Understand how debt chains you down. Study how money loses value when too much of it is printed. Knowledge is a shield. Third, you take steps. Maybe that means cutting unnecessary debt. Maybe it means holding assets that resist inflation. Maybe it means diversifying investments. The action doesn't have to be perfect, but it must begin. Intention creates energy, and energy creates results. When the crisis hits, and Schiff says it is not a matter of if, but when, many will panic. Panic is wasted energy. Fear will make people sell at the worst times, hoard at the wrong moments, or cling desperately to promises from leaders who cannot deliver. But if you anchor your intention now, your energy will be focused, calm, and clear. You will not be reacting blindly, you will be moving deliberately. Schiff's critics say he is too pessimistic, that he always warns of disaster. But even if you believe he exaggerates, ask yourself, what if he's right this time? What if the storm he describes is already forming? Isn't it better to prepare and be wrong than to ignore and be caught unready? Preparation doesn't weaken you, it strengthens you. And if the storm is less severe than predicted, you will still be stronger for having prepared. Imagine a society where more people took warnings seriously, where families lived within their means, reduced unnecessary debt, saved with discipline, and invested with awareness. Imagine if citizens didn't blindly trust easy answers, but educated themselves on the true mechanics of money. Crises wouldn't vanish, but their impact would be softened. That is the power of intention at the collective level. But for now, you must start with yourself. Schiff says inflation will erode the dollar. Then ask yourself, how can I preserve value beyond paper currency? Schiff says debt will suffocate households and governments. Then ask yourself, how can I limit my own exposure to that trap? Schiff says confidence will collapse when people realize the system is weaker than it appears. Then ask yourself, how can I build confidence in my own plan, my own structure, my own resilience? The horrific financial crisis he warns about is not just charts and numbers, it is lived reality. It means grocery bills doubling while paychecks stagnate. It means businesses shuttering, jobs disappearing. It means pensions shrinking, savings accounts losing power, retirements delayed. But it also means opportunity. Every great shift opens doors for those ready to adapt. Every storm carves out new ground for those bold enough to plant seeds. So do not listen to this and despair. Listen to this and ignite. If Schiff is right, you have a gift, a chance to prepare before the masses. If he is wrong, you have still built discipline, still reduced weakness, still strengthened yourself. Either way, you win. The tide is receding. Most people are laughing in the sand, oblivious. But you see the signs, you hear the warnings, you feel the pull. The wave is coming. The question is, will you be swallowed, or will you be the one who stands firm, anchored, ready, even using the power of the wave to propel yourself further than you've ever gone before? Peter Schiff explains why America is entering a horrific financial crisis. But the story does not end with his warning. The story continues with your response, your intention, your energy. Crisis or not, your future is built by what you choose to do now. So decide, act, prepare, and when the wave comes, let it find you strong.